Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 72 of Screw the Commute podcast. I've got Raven Blair Glover here with me, and she fulfilled her childhood dreams of being on the radio. And boy, did she achieve it, and then some. And I'll tell you about her in a moment. Episode 71, our last episode, was Judith Brile. She's a prolific author and writing and publishing consultant, and she had lots of great tips on business and being a female entrepreneur in the early 70s and going through all the crap she had to go through with that. It's a very inspiring story, what she made for herself. Now, one announcement, our podcast app is now ready in the App Store. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. We're going to have training on screwthecommute.com to show you all the ins and outs of the things you can do with this cool app on your tablets or your cell phones. So make sure you download that from the App Store and iTunes. Now, our sponsor for today is AmazingPublicSpeaking.com. This is a membership site with over 475 professional and public speaking training videos, plus audios and articles. I mean, we have also have a corresponding complimentary webinar that gives you 30 speaking tips in, 37.625 minutes or something. I don't know exactly. And we have a link to that in the show notes. This is episode 72, and for all my episodes, if you just do screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number, you'll go right to the show notes where we have full transcripts and all the great tips from the person we were interviewing. All right, let's get to the main event. Raven, and also known as the Talk Show Maven, is the recipient of President Obama's 2016 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I did not know that about her. What an honor. As a child, she dreamt of being on radio. However, her journey didn't begin until age 55. And I find that hard to believe because she looks about 35. And so I don't know how that works, how it didn't start till after she was, before she was born. I don't know. So she looks like a little kid. Now she teaches others how to be the Oprah and Larry King in their niche, mastering the art of interviewing. Raven, are you ready to screw the commute?
Yeah, screw time.
It's screw time. That's right.
Hey,
boy.
Tom.
It's great to catch up with you. I mean, I see you at the events all the time that I'm speaking at, and you're everybody's always surrounding you. So tell them what you've been up to. And I'm going to go to your backstory a little later because I didn't know a lot of this stuff. I thought you've been doing this all your life and as smooth as you are. So what are you doing now? And then we'll get into where you came from.
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, let me just say, this is just so great and such an honor. I am literally bouncing up and down in my seat like a little kid.
I told you it looked like a little kid.
Because of you. Oh my God, because of you. Before I even go into what I've done, I've got to tell the audience that this man's product is the first product I got that led me to entrepreneurship.
And I didn't know that either until you told me that.
Yeah, I'd seen Les Brown and Jim Rome on stage, and I was sitting in the audience and just visualized myself there. So I went home and I Googled how to be a speaker, and your Wake Up and, oh my God, I can't think of the name of it.
Wake 'em Up Business Presentations.
Wake 'em Up Business Presentation popped up, and I got the system because I really wanted to learn how to do this. And then when I got it, it was all about humor. And to be honest, it was such a dark time in my life. I didn't think I had any humor in me, but I still listened to your stuff and I still carried it along the way. And I found out I'm a little nutty.
You are a little nutty. There's no doubt about it. I see you bopping down the thing with your hat on, and you're everywhere. And humor as you look back to keeping humor in your life at some of the darkest times is a coping mechanism. So it's an important thing. So what do
In
What are you
answer to
doing
your
now?
question, I'm sorry. Yeah, right now what I'm doing is I'm just all over the place. To be honest, I am really a little cray cray. I got this thing that I came up with when I moved into a happier point in my life to don't wait to be great, do it now. And so
Hmm.
I'm doing like three, four things now. I think you already know behind the scenes. We haven't announced it yet, so this is exclusive
All right.
on your show that we're in the process of launching on smart TV our Raven International TV network. Of course, I have my Amazing Women of Power radio network, and we're also really launching a first ever directory for lifestyle, health, and business that's going to be tied into our TV network. Just finished Conversations Behind the Mic, first ever book with all radio hosts on the cover, and they featured their best interview inside the book. We have people like the Donald when he was in the Apprentice days. That's when I liked him, really liked him. And then, and we had so many, Montel Williams, Lindsay Wagner, so many different people that done interviews, featured those in the book. And so I'm just doing a lot. My
Lindsay.
husband and I just renewed our vows, and so
Oh, that's
we're
nice.
all is good.
How many
Yeah.
years? How many years?
We got married in 2014. So what is that? 5?
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah. And it's really ironic. Here's a kind of funny story. We met in 2006 when I first started doing, I guess you could say, sales on the phone virtually, and I was going to do webinars. I heard Alex
Hmm.
say the quickest way to become an expert is to interview experts, Alex
Right.
Mendozian.
Hmm.
And that's how I really started interviewing. But anyway, long story short, my husband, who's a Grammy Award winning mixing engineer, worked with Michael Jackson, Prince, and stuff. He
Wow.
reached out. We met through his mastermind, Alex Mastermind. Years later, we came back together. Both of us was divorced at that time, and we ended up getting married.
Wow.
Yeah, so Alex renewed our vows for us when we were at a mastermind a couple of weeks ago. So
Oh,
it's so
so
funny how everything's coming full force with you and Alex and everything.
I
It's
didn't know he was a
crazy.
minister.
He's not. He's not. He's not. It's just that we were all at the event, and so we were saying he could make our wedding. So we were like, "Well, let's renew our vows, and you do
Oh,
it." I said,
that's really
"Okay."
nice. That's really nice. See, I used to have a nightclub called the Anchor Lounge. It was kind of a
Uh-huh.
nautical theme. So I thought, you know what? I'm the captain of this ship, so I'll renew your vows too. So,
Yeah, that's right. Because you don't have to have the license or whatever
right,
for renewal.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's really cool.
All right. So let's back up a little bit though, because
Okay.
in your intro you said you didn't even realize your dream, a childhood dream, until you're 55. Well, there's a lot of room in between there. What were you doing? Were you working jobs or what?
Yeah, actually, I was in sales. My mother had told me a long time ago that if you learn how to communicate and be a great listener and sell over the phone, you would never be without having money, and you wouldn't
Hmm.
have to depend on other people to hire you. You could just get out there and sell anything. So I really learned the art of doing all that, mastering sales, and really even bigger than that is being a good listener.
Right.
So you can hear what people are saying. So anyway, long story short, my mother ended up getting sick and she went to the hospital. We thought she was going to be in for a couple of days. She ended up being in the ICU unit for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And at that time, I was in the chapel wondering if mom was going to make it. Did she really live her life for herself or just us? And that's when the voice inside me kind of guided me and said, hey, it's time for you to step up and show up. And your mother's been the matriarch of the family. She needs you. And it was really weird because I had just gotten Alex's teleseminar secrets course, and I heard him say that the quickest way to become an expert is to interview experts. Right then, Tom, I kid you not, I grabbed a piece of paper. I told the nurses in the hospital, because I was living at the hospital in the ward with my mother,
Right.
wanting to make sure no mistakes was made.
Right.
And I told them, I said, I'm going to start a show, and it's going to empower baby boomer women to go for their dreams and visions no matter what. And I crafted and created my show, did my first show from the
From
hospital,
the
and that's how my
hospital.
radio journey began. Yeah, so I tell people my dream found me in the ICU unit at the hospital while by my mom's side.
Wow, that's that's an amazing start to a. I don't know if we've had any as interesting starts to to a business career starting from the ICU. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Mother's gone now, but she's seen me make a total transition before she passed, and it's been an amazing journey. I got to meet you in person.
oh boy, now
I
there's a
remember that.
highlight. I don't know. Let me weigh it. Presidential Achievement Award or meeting Tom. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're right up there. You're right up there.
So so in the ICU, you came up with this idea, but tell us how you implemented it. You went from working telephone sales to getting this idea in the middle of the ICU. So how did you roll that out, make it happen?
Oh, wow. Really good question. Well, like I said, I lived at the hospital mother was in there for 3 weeks. And so during the day, I was watching exactly every step that they did, because I guess in 98, we lost my dad from mistakes at the hospital. So that wasn't going to happen to mom.
Right.
So I was dead on that. But then when she slept and through the night, I would just start making a list of who I wanted to interview, and I would, just Google how to do a podcast and all that stuff. And because I was so diligent at it and I was excited and telling the people at the hospital got to know me from living there for 3 weeks. And so they said, you know what, instead of sharing this one computer in the ICU ward with the rest of the visitors, why don't you, when the big chiefs leave, come behind our desk and you can use the computer in our room.
That's
and so
nice.
when mother slept, I stayed there and I taught myself how to do radio, how to interview, and eventually I noticed that, I was just one of many. So I really mastered the art of interviewing, what I call, Tom, interviewing up, going for the people you dare not think you can get. And I reached out to Montel Williams, Fran Drescher, Lindsay Wagner, of course, Alex, I just kept reaching up to bigger people. And that's which really made me elevate really quickly.
Okay, and how did you do that? And who was your first big fish you landed?
The first big one was a lady by the name of Jane Kennedy. I don't know if you remember Jane. She was one of the first African-American sportswomen back in the day.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You probably know Jane.
Yeah.
Beautiful girl. And so she was the first one. I was originally from Cleveland, Ohio. She was too. And there was someone that had wrote about, showed some pictures of her. And Jane had been out of the spotlight for a while because I forget she got some kind of, she got ill and she, got a lot of weight on her and stuff. So she kind of withdrew. And so he was at a party and he posted it and said, "This is my cousin Jane." And I read it and I said, "Jane Kennedy, wow, I would love to have her on my show." At that time, I'd only had my show for maybe a month. And so I wrote to him and told him I was from Cleveland. I knew she was from Cleveland. And, she was someone I idolized and I would love if he would connect her so I can have her on my show.
Now, was this a podcast or radio or what was it in those days?
This was right then. This was just a web-based, I created my own website and put the player on there, and that's all.
So
it was.
So it was like the beginning of the podcasting days. Yeah.
It was the beginning. Yeah, I had only had it for maybe 2 to 4 weeks, and anyway, she wrote back and she said, "Hey, homie, here's my number, here's my email,
Hey,
let's
homie.
talk." And she was my first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how'd it go from there?
Well, I was thinking when I was talking to her, I said, you know what? She's my first celebrity and celebrity's no celebrity. So I'm just going to ask her at the end, "Hey, Jane, this was great. I enjoyed talking to you. If you enjoyed your experience on my show, would you be open to sharing one of your friends that also love to empower baby boomer women you think would be great for the show?" And she referred me to Claudette Robinson, Smokey Robinson's ex. And then it just went on and on and on.
Wow. It just took guts to do it. And then, but how, did you monetize such a thing? How did you stay in business?
Later. Yeah, that's kind of interesting because remember I said I wanted to help mom.
Right.
And, I got so into interviewing, which by the way, Tom, I'm sure you found this with a lot of your clients. we are so excited and passionate about what we do. Somehow we forget that the real reason is to make the money.
To be honest with you, I never forget that, but I do have a good time while I'm doing it.
So I was interviewing all these great people, and I remember sending Alex an email about it. And he says, "Well, that's great. How are you?" Same question as you. How are you monetizing? I'm like, "Ooh." I'm not, but I'm having fun with Montel Williams, them, interviewing them. And so, that's when I first started thinking I got to monetize this. So I wrote a script because I came from sales. I created this course called Kitchen Table Radio, and I invited about 20 people, and they all paid I think it was $197 on a group coaching call. That was the first way. And while I was doing the call, I remembered to record everything. And when I finished recording, I transcribed it, packaged it into a digital course, wrote a script, and got on the phone and called businesses and said, "Hey, how are you marketing your business? Have you ever thought about having your own podcast or radio show?" And that's how I did it.
Wow. And then is that course still available?
That's my first course, Kitchen Table Radio. It's actually one I give as a bonus for free now, and I train my radio host on it. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. So is that pretty much your business now, is training, interviewing?
Yes.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically it's one-on-one consulting with me, or we do group coaching classes to where I get people on the phone, business owners, entrepreneurs, and even podcasters, and tell them how they could grow their business by interviewing icons like yourselves, influencers, top experts, leaders, and things like that. And we teach them 3 ways on interviewing: how to be interviewed on a show, and also how to interview and host a show, as well as how to interview their clients on a one-call close. So I have a whole interview profiting system that teaches us those 3. We do a live event every year called Red Carpet Interview Secrets. People come out to, and they're walking around with microphones interviewing each other and things like that.
That's cool.
So I love interviewing. I love showing people how to reach and get the top experts, because I really, really know for a fact that has helped me and helped many of my clients. It always brings tears to my eyes when my client emailed me and said, "Oh, I just finished having an interview with Jack Canfield. Oh my God, I just finished interviewing Alveda King," and stuff like that. And I know how they felt, because I felt that the first time. You're kind of like asking the questions, but you're in shock, and you're like, "I'm really talking on the phone to Diana Nightingale, Earl Nightingale's widow." I remember when I interviewed J.B. Hill, Napoleon Hill's grandson. Very few people I know have interviewed him. And I remember that being, one of the first books I read back in my sales days, Think and Grow Rich. And to be on the other end of the line, speaking with J.B. Hill, now I guess I've interviewed him a dozen times, and he's a good friend of mine. But these people, including you, I never even thought I would be talking to them. So interviewing has totally, totally, totally changed my life. And I love to change others by showing them the techniques.
Yeah, and everybody knows you. That's the thing. Everybody say, "Oh yeah, I know her." Yeah, and that's part of. But that's part of being in business. The more people that know you, the more chance you have to do business, and the more people refer you, and all that stuff. So what kind of equipment do you use? I hardly ask anybody that, but how do you do your interviews?
Well, I have a microphone and a mixer that my husband, Khalid, he used to work with Michael Jackson, Prince, and all that. So
an audio engineer. Boy, are you lucky, because I had to get somebody down here to hook all this stuff up, and I still don't. I don't touch the knobs, because I'm afraid to mess up.
I don't either. I be careful. I hate when a cord knocks against something.
Exactly.
Throw it off. But here's the thing. I did probably 75, because Khalid and I just got married in 2014. So prior to him, I interviewed Oscar winner Lou Gossett Jr., Chili from TLC, all these amazing people. And guess what? I used the telephone free conference call line, no fancy equipment or anything.
You make him go back and sweeten all of them.
No, I haven't, honestly. Now, see, because I know you're really, really into sound quality and all that stuff, and most people are and should be. So you guys don't get me wrong. I told you at the beginning I'm a little cray-cray. But my theory, and this is why my first course was called Kitchen Table Radio,
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting ready to do the Kitchen Table TV course soon, because I'm about the easy breezy way. I'm 67 now, Tom.
Oh
I thank
no,
you for saying I look young. I
you do.
appreciate
Your skin looks like a baby.
So I'm 67 now, and ain't no technical bone in my body. So I keep it easy breezy, simple, stupid, because what I found out of all the amazing people I interviewed, I've never heard anyone say your sound quality sucks. You know what they're really interested in?
What?
They're interested, I mean, as long as you don't have static all
Right,
through
right.
it, and it's really bad, they're interested in the content. This is what people tuning in. They want to get the goods, they want to make the breakthrough. And the guests, they want a great experience. You're the best at this. They want the laugh, they want a humor. I mean, I tell my radio host clients all the time, it started off people being called a radio personality. And that's for a reason. Forget your degrees, forget your awards. Don't get on there and be an old,
Stick in the
stick in
mud.
the mud.
Yeah, get on there and
Be
screw
exciting,
the
have fun.
commute.
There you go. Screw it up, baby. Yeah. And so that's exactly, what people should do. Just relax. Don't worry so much about the equipment. Sure, you don't want it to sound terrible, but I find that so many people focus on that, whether they're doing video or audio, they never take the big step
Yeah.
of going out there and interviewing, or even if they're delivering content on their own, they won't do it because they're in that perfection mode. You know that, Tom.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the people, they think, oh, no, I have a serious topic. If I'm funny, I'm going to lose my credibility. Well, nobody ever lost credibility by being interesting. That's and look at that crazy money guy on TV. He's just a wild man, and he's got a TV show, and we don't. Or you're going to, and I'm going to have one pretty soon too. But let's talk about that. Why'd you pick the smart TV? I'm developing shows for Roku right now, but why did you pick the place you picked?
Well, I mean, and Roku is considered in there. I'm like you. I'm starting on Roku. Roku, is it Roku?
Roku,
yeah, Roku.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on Fire Stick and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm,
That's just where things are going right now. I want to go to the next level, just like you, Tom. I mean, I love Be Live TV and all that other stuff, but I teach this stuff. This
right.
is what I teach people, how to interview and how to become talk show hosts. So I have to stay. Now, that part of the technology I have to stay in, but I can tell you that's a lot of work with Roku, and who has definitely set minds up. It wasn't me, Tom.
Yeah. It's
I said, baby.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I said, hey, baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I guess I have a little echo here. I was telling my husband, I said, hey, baby, it's time to screw it up, like you say, because I need you, baby. Date night tonight. I need you to put this show together.
That's your date night. He has to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of work, but I probably wouldn't do it if I had to keep producing brand new stuff every day. But I have enormous amount of video material
you have so much stuff.
I have public speaking, I have internet marketing, I have protection dog stuff, another side business, and so I'm going to make channels for all of those. But so besides Roku, where do you think somebody should go if they're going to do TV? The Fire Stick, right?
I mean, the only ones I know is Fire Stick, and that one hasn't come out yet. It's in the process of it. There's a few others out there. Just kind of have to watch, and when you see great opportunities like we did, Tom, you got to grab them, even if you're not ready to do it, right, Tom?
Yeah,
you grab it anyway.
That's right.
And you learn it, and then when you're ready to do it, you do it, because I can tell you that's going to go way up pretty soon, and it's going to be a lot tougher. You and I got in kind of like early on this, and so. And which brought us back to where we've seen each other again and why we're here today.
Yeah.
But, just keep your eye out for it. But the best place to start is just like you said, Tom, just start producing videos. Just start loading them up on videos. And then you can always go back and repurpose that stuff when the time is right. Just get on there and start speaking your piece. What I found is from someone that was a very, very dark place. I mean, Tom, I have to be honest and raw with you and your listeners that back in 90, I want to say 95, 96, I was sitting in a closet looking at a gun.
Oh, geez. Jeez.
So I've come a long ways from that. And at that time, I was married to someone that was, I don't know, he could have been related to OJ. I don't know,
Yeah.
because he was really crazy and very abusive mentally. And I just wanted to take my life. But having my children, even though they were teenagers then, kept me from doing that. And of course, the fear of God, I didn't want to do that. And I'm so glad that I hung in here, because,
Me too. I mean, this
you know,
would be a lot of dead air if I was not, if you had done that and I was interviewing you. No pun intended.
yeah, I know. You're so funny, but I said that because I want people to realize it's not where you're at right now or where you were in life. It's where you want to go to. What's your real aspirations? What do you desire to do with your life? And when I said earlier, my biggest mantra is don't wait to be great, do it now. I mean, I say that to all my clients, and sometimes I lovingly have to push them because you cannot put off tomorrow what you want to do today. Tomorrow's not promised. We're only promised the moment we stand in right now, and it could be took away. It's not a scare tactic. That's a reality.
That's for sure. Now,
So live your life to the fullest. Yeah.
all right. Besides those big picture tips, what would you say to somebody that's in a cubicle now and thinking, "Man, I'd like to start a show, or I'd like to do something and get out of these commuting to work"? And what kind of business tips would you have for them to get ready for a move like that?
I would say, just do like I did. Grab yourself a piece of paper. I learned this back in kindergarten or somewhere back there. Draw a line down the paper and put, what do I need to do and where do I begin? And just start going at it.
Yeah,
Get out of perfection.
And there's
Yeah.
plenty of people will tell you how to start a business. That's pretty, just go down to the courthouse, get a business license. That would be a first step for somebody. But how do you operate your business? Like, what model do you have? Is it a corporation? Is it a LLC? Is it a sole proprietor? How do you operate as a business?
It's a LLC.
LLC.
Yeah, it's a LLC. And I got to tell you, my husband is the one that is very, what do you call it, analytical
Mm-hmm.
and dot the I's and cross the T's. I am so not that. I am kind of what is it? Shooting fire.
Yeah.
Or firing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, it's
not a lot
fire
of
and then
thinking on my
aim.
part.
Fire and then aim.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
go with my gut.
so
my
that's
heart and
another
soul,
date
to be
night
honest.
for you. Here, honey, do the books.
Yeah, really. I just come up with ideas. I'm
Okay.
very creative all over the place, and then I just go for it and put it into action. And I'm okay with failing forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest tips I can give people is it's okay to fail forward. Don't be scared. Don't be stuck in fear and procrastination and self-doubt and all that stuff. I'm human, so I have those moments, and then I just have to dance my way out of it. Put on the happy song
So
or
you
something
got
like that.
a yin yang relationship going on. He's analytical and makes sure that the business stuff is. So is he technically in the business, or he's just doing this to help you?
He just does it to help me. Don't if you ever see us together, don't ever say
No.
don't ever say he's doing it. No. He lives very clear. You got to remember this man is a Grammy Award winning mixing engineer. He's got his own thing. He as a matter of fact, I'm so proud to tell you that last week they had a Christmas special on Channel 2, and 2 days, about 3 days before Diana Ross sang the song she did, which was Home and Someday Christmas, their people had created the music and it needed a little extra. And guess who they called? My man.
All right.
Say this. And Khalik had to get it together in 2 days. So she actually performed on his song. So yeah, he's busy.
That's great. So what do you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst part?
I can screw the commute.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah,
where you live, right?
absolutely.
Where you live in LA?
I'm in LA. I'm in the Valley in Woodland Hills. But, I came from Houston, Texas, which is also terrible in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated getting in that traffic. I remember sometimes spending, over an hour to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just too much. And then, people have such attitudes and
Right.
drive crazy. So I love your show, Screw the Commute, because that's exactly how I felt, so I love being able to work from home. Right now, I am in my pajamas,
Beautiful
yes,
thought.
I love working in my pajamas. Who was that passed away that used to love to work in his pajamas? Oh, he's on the tip of my head. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I can't remember either.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he used to wear his Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm kind of like, yeah, I love working in my pajamas. That's the only thing I hate about the video. But if I scoop my chair down low enough, I can put my hat on and people would never know that it's my pajamas.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing podcasts in his pajamas. I think he had other things on his mind, maybe in his pajamas or out of his pajamas, maybe.
You're so funny, but yeah. So I love I'm with you. Screw the commute. I want to work from home. I love going from one room to the other, from the smooth sailing. I guess from the frantic highway to the smooth sailing hallway is what I call it. And I'm just going, right to my studio, which is just my desk right in front of my window, microphone. I don't go out the house unless I'm at an event. That's it. Or I have to go a cover event. But other than that, my husband and I both, we love being around each other and we love being at home. And we love to say, screw the commute.
That's right. Does he have a whole studio where he can work at home?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
His studio is right upstairs. Yeah. And so his stuff is upstairs and he built my station downstairs and we have our room in the back and we're good.
All right. Now, what was that? I'm writing that down. The frantic highway to the something hallway?
Smooth sailing hallway.
Smooth sailing hallway. We're gonna put that on a graphic and give it to you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So and it makes a difference. And I can wake up. We wake up. We do our little exercise in the morning. Spend our time together, and then he goes upstairs, and I'm here. And we both have on our doors when we're on air. It says on air. We dare not go in there when we're on air.
Right.
We're good, man. That is it.
Right. That is the life. I'll tell you, especially, I spent 13 years out of DC, where the Beltway is one of the busiest highways in the world. And then every time I go to LA, you got to put an extra hour in if you're going across the street, pretty much. So, hey, did any of those fires get you, or any problems related to the fires? That's all we hear about is like the whole state's on fire.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea till I got here that, I used to hear about those fires when I was in Houston, but being here and actually smelling the smoke in the air, it got really, really close. In fact, it was on one side of Topanga Canyon. We're on the other side, but we could see the smoke coming in. And it got close enough to where we were, was trying to stay up all night. We weren't feeling comfortable with going to sleep. So my husband was upstairs working in the studio. Here's a funny story for you. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just, grab our marriage license and grab some important things, And then I was like, what am I going to take? So I looked at all the stuff here. I looked at the kids' pictures and stuff. And I was like, well, I got tons of pictures, in storage and this. They're groaning on now. And I looked at my Barack Obama award in my presidential pen. And I'm like, I grabbed that sucker because I'm like, okay, nobody's going to ever believe this story. I need this with his writing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I packed that, okay, for sure.
Yeah, well, we do the same thing here with hurricanes. We get ready for it. And then we love the state of North Carolina because the hurricanes stop there and leave us alone most of the time. But you still got to get ready for them. But see, I like hurricanes better than earthquakes because hurricanes and fires have the courtesy of telling you they're coming. Where the earthquake just kind of, boom, you drop off into a big hole in the earth and you're gone. So I get a little nervous when I'm in California with all that stuff going on. But hey, so how does what do you got for sale? What's these courses, and when's this next thing coming up? You said you had the live events a couple times a year? Yeah,
Red Carpet Interview Secrets is every June, and we have an awards night the first night because I own a radio station, Amazing Women of Power. amazing women and men of power now. And so we always give the award out, which I named after my mom, called the Emily Award. So we have that night, the first night. And it's 3 days, it's workshop style, where I'm teaching them the 3 ways of interviewing, how to be a producer and host your own show, which covers interviewing and how to get the interviews, interview styles, and that type of thing. And also how to ask and be interviewed by other top experts like yourself and what you should bring to the table during your interview. We go over having a personality, not being afraid to have some humor, like things we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then we teach them how to interview their clients on a one-call close, because I've come from I don't know, years of sales, 25 or 30 years of sales. That's my background.
Mm-hmm.
And I always did do one call closes. So I'm not much on follow up, because I figure, why they're following up, I'm getting a sale. Because if I'm following up, somebody else got the sale. I used to get that a lot of times. Well, I wish you would have called me yesterday. I just signed up with someone. So that's when I said, no more follow up for me. It's going down that
there
day.
You go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we do there. As far as courses, I don't have any courses that I'm doing right now, because I'm taking off like 3 or 4 weeks for the holiday. Number one, get this channel set up on Roku and the other things that we're working on background. So this is my time. I usually kind of just take time to get myself set up for next year. Another of my mantras is how you end one year is how you start the next. And I always like to start the next year on top. So I learned about 4 years ago to take off most of December and get everything in place so that when January comes and everybody else trying to get ready, she ready.
All right, but where do they read about the live event?
The live event, the best way, you know what? That hasn't got page got set up yet. So I would just tell people, follow me on Facebook.
By the time they hear this, you can we'll put it in the show notes for you. But go ahead and tell them your Facebook.
It'd be red carpet interview secrets.
That's the Facebook page?
No, that would be the live event. Red carpet interview secrets, and I think if they go to Red Carpet Interview Secrets /2015,
but I mean, is that a .com?
Mm-hmm.
redcarpetinterviewsecrets.com. Okay, so that takes you to the homepage. Okay, yeah, we'll have it in the show notes, and you can give us the latest version whenever you get the actual page set up. And by the time they listen to this, it should be be there. Now
I do have something for your listeners for free.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Conversations Behind the Mic. Conversations Behind the Mic. I will send you the link so you can put it in the show notes.
Okay, beautiful.
Because we're going to give them that book. It's about a 400 page, well, actually 400 and something page book. They'll get the ebook version. And in the back of the book is Raven's recommended directory, and there's over 50 gifts in there for them. But that's the book I was telling you about, the first ever book where it's all talk show hosts on the cover, and inside the book, everybody had to feature their best interview as of date. Tom, I want you in our next edition, which will be coming out next year. So you and I got to talk about that.
Absolutely. So we got to take a brief break for our sponsor, but when we come back, we're going to ask Raven what a typical day looks like for her and how she stays motivated. So
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. So, folks, have you ever thought about getting paid to speak and you're not sure if you're ready to invest in lots of training? Well, I got the solution. AmazingPublicSpeaking.com has over 475 public and professional speaking techniques. You got openings and closings and attention-gaining device and humor and also the business of speaking, because you can be the greatest speaker on earth, but if you can't get on stages, nobody's going to hear you. And it's only $97 for an entire year. We also have a complimentary webinar that gives you 30 of those speaking tips in about 30, 40 minutes. And all of this is going to be at the show notes at screwthecommute.com. This is episode 72, along with that super duper bonus that Raven is giving you. And also we'll have information if you want to attend her live event in June. All right, let's get back to our super duper guest, Raven Blair Glover. She's earned the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. And we're going to see what a typical day looks like for her, and also how she stays motivated. But I forgot, I wanted to ask you, tell us about that achievement award. How did that come about? And was there a ceremony? What happened there?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was a ceremony. I didn't get a chance to meet the president. It was he had some business ambassadors that held these and from different states, and you had
Uh-huh.
to be nominated for it.
Wow.
My clients nominated me. I didn't even know it. I was actually in Hawaii. My husband and I, it was December 15th, and I kept getting this email saying, you've been nominated for the presidential a Lifetime Achievement Award. We need to get some information on you because obviously they're going to check you out, right? And I thought it was a joke.
Yeah,
And I
you
didn't
get those
answer it
things
for
all
3
the
weeks.
time that you're going to be in
Yeah.
this directory of great people, and then it's fake,
Yeah. So I ignored it, and it kept popping up. And so the day before we left Hawaii, I told my son, I said, I keep getting this thing, and my son said, let me look at it. He said, Mom, I think this might be official. You might want to give them a call when you get back home. So I emailed them and asked them, was there someone I could talk to? And then I found out it was real, and I sent them over a bio like I sent you. They sent it back to me. They said, "Excuse me." They wanted a history of what I'd done,
Oh,
for
wow.
years and all that stuff, So it was more like a resume, like a job resume and stuff, the things that you had done as far as giving back and all that stuff. So I had to give all that information, and that's how it came about. And so they were thinking they were going to have it in California, but by that time it was only 2 weeks before Obama was out of office. And they said, hey, we never know if this is even going to stop next year with the new president, because it was something started, I think, by Bush years ago.
Yeah.
So they said, you better go ahead and come to Atlanta, because we're doing the ceremony there. And so I went, walked across the stage, got it on video, and I tell you, it was just a wonderful moment, especially when you think about where everything started from, 55 years old at the hospital.
Wow. That is a story.
Yeah.
So, so what's a typical day look like for you? Like, what time do you get up? What do you do in the mornings? Do you work in the mornings, in the evenings? How's it work for you on a daily basis?
I'm an early bird. I get
Okay.
up at about 5 a.m.
Wow.
and I love to dance. I'm not really good on exercise as I need to, but I love to dance. So I have a dance list, with wobble wobble, all the line dances and happy song and stuff
At
like
5
that. So
o'clock in the
that
morning,
gets me
you're
a little-
line dancing? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
You are cray
I
cray.
gotta get started. I got to get pumped up. That's my get pumped up.
Now you got to
and
videotape that, and put that out there.
yeah.
That'd go
I would
viral
love
right
to.
there.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube would shut me down on that music. Maybe I can say, guess what song I'm dancing
Yeah.
on? Have people guess. But yeah, that's what I usually do. And I do have a little, I also have a list of praise and inspirational type songs. So, sometimes I'll start with the just wobble wobble and I'm ready. And sometimes the slower days I'll start with the the songs that inspire and motivate me and have a spiritual side. And then once I do that, I know my intentions for the day is to make some money, honey. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I usually keep a stack of business cards on my desk and, I kind of throw them up in the air and see which falls down, and I start dialing and smiling.
Wow, yeah.
I do things a little different, as you can see.
Oh, no, I
I'm
just thought
me.
of something. No, your husband dance with you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Because I was
he's
going
up
to say,
and
if you're
he's
doing a
music.
slow dance by yourself, that'd be kind of weird.
Well, no, for the spiritual meditation songs, that's generally when I'm going through my emails and stuff like that. in the morning,
Okay.
like that,
All right. I was
or if
gonna
I'm having a hard time waking up. Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically what I do, and I start smiling and dialing. I keep my calendar full. I've got on my own. I've got about probably a dozen shows that I produce, and they're seasonal, so I already know who I'm going to interview. And then, I have my radio hosts, about 20 of them. So, I'm always helping them get their shows to the next level and always creating. I stay in the creation mode. Once one thing stops, then the other starts.
Well, who are you
I'm
calling?
trying to do a lot.
Who are you
Huh?
calling? when you said dial
In
on
the
the phone?
morning.
Yeah,
I'm calling and closing deals on the phone.
I
I'm
know, but
offering
where did
services.
the leads come from?
That's my business cards. You know how you go everywhere and you get business
Right,
cards? Well,
right,
I have
okay.
probably about 3 or 4 bags full. Some people I haven't talked to since 2014. And I just say, this is I call it my Diana Ross reach out and touch day. And I call them and I say, hey, this is Raven, the Talk Show Maven. I'm looking at your card here. You got on this awesome blue shirt and it says such and such, such. So they know they spoke with me. I'm not sure when we met. It could have been any time between
Hmm.
2014 or whatever. But I'm just playing Diana Ross today and I'm reaching out and touching people I haven't talked to find out what's hot and what's going on with you and how I can support you.
Well, there you go, and it's working for you. So,
Yeah. And they just talk and we go from there and find out if we're a fit, if there's something, if I can refer them someone, or if there's a service I can help them with. That's how we do it.
beautiful. Now, if you, how do you stay motivated?
I stay motivated by listening to masters out there that are really good at keeping you inspired and moving you along. Les Brown's one of my favorites. Tony Robbins, sometimes I like listening to him. Sometimes he's way too loud and I can't deal with it. But on the, on the days that I can take it, he can be really inspiring for me. And, just different people, Lisa Sashfitch, Alex Mendoza, and some people that I've invested in. I love catching your streams when I can. And so I always say, who motivates the motivator? We have to motivate ourselves. And you have to know what things or what people motivate you. The biggest motivation for me is still being here, Tom.
Hmm.
Honestly, I've lost 3 in the past year. I've lost 4 radio hosts. 2 of them that was still currently with us. 2 of them that was with us early on, but they're still considered one of our family. I've lost my brother in the middle of a big launch, and I couldn't even make it to his funeral because I had 40 people on the calendar to interview.
Oh, geez.
And I just lost my brother-in-law, and there's been people on Facebook that I've met, so, and it's just a devastating time. And to be honest, I was almost out the game back in August. I mean, so much so that I just didn't want to work or anything. It was just too much around me. And I really had to go to listening to, like I said, Les Brown and some of the different people. I just keep YouTube up, and I just Google inspiration, motivation. Some of these people I never heard from, but you know how the right message shows
Right.
up at the right time.
Right.
Yeah. And that's how I motivate myself. I motivate myself by getting more life out of living and more living out of life. And whenever I get depressed and down, I cut the news on, and that's a fresh reminder that, hey, you thought you had something to complain with. These people left out that morning thinking they would come back home, and they didn't.
Mm.
So.
So when you're listening to this stuff, it's like in the background while you're working, or you just stop and listen to something?
You know what? Thanks for saying that. I do actually have it in the background. I usually have a little headset
Mm-hmm.
and I have one of the ear things in my ear, and I may be listening to The Secret or listening to something to motivate me and inspire me while I'm making these calls and trying to make connection calls to close sales or find new hosts. Right now, I'm trying to find people for my new show that got a network rather that has content. And so I'm always, the phone is my best tool. You always say screw the commute, and one of the reasons that I'm so excited to say screw the commute too is because it's so much that can be done over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I ask people, well, why are you going out there and meet them now? You got Zoom. You got the
Exactly.
phone. Why are you getting into traffic? Unless you just want to get into traffic. Some people just love to be around people. I do too, and I have meetups I go to every now and then. But I much rather, like you say, screw the commute and work from home.
That's for sure.
For sure.
Well, it's so great catching up with you, Raven. We're thrilled about it. I'm sure you're inspiring a lot of our listeners. Like I said, you started in an ICU. You started your business in an ICU. That's a first. I never heard that one before. But thanks so much for coming on. And give us the name of that thing for the show notes again. The live event. What's it called?
Yeah, Red Carpet Interview Secrets.
Redcarpetinterviewsecrets.com. And then where do they go to get that super freebie you offered them?
It's the book is called Conversations Behind the Mic. I'm going to have to get that link for you. My husband has it set up on a new system.
Yeah, we'll have it
so
in the show notes, and that'll be just awesome. So thanks so much for coming on, folks. Check out all of her stuff. This is episode 72 of Screw the Commute. So it's screwthecommute.com/72. You'll also, if you download the app, all our show notes will be in the app that you can get from iTunes or in the App Store. And please leave us a review over at iTunes. That helps the show out. Appreciate it so much. And we will catch everybody on the next episode. See you later.